back. It is your boy, House of Chillin', here with Season 2 of the series that I'm now calling the Wild Shuffle series. The reason I'm calling it the Wild Shuffle series is because that's exactly what we're doing here. We are doing a wild shuffle of all the players from Survivor USA, Big Brother USA, and Big Brother Canada. I didn't mention Big Brother Canada in the first one because there was nobody from there, but today we do have somebody representing Big Brother Canada, so Big Brother Canada is involved as well. Before we get started with the season and I show you the cast, I have to show you the DVD cover from Season 1. Hopefully you watched Season 1 before you clicked into here because this is a spoiler. So if not, I apologize. Still go back and watch it. It was a good season, but these are the 6 players that I think were the most influential from Season 1, and I think this is a pretty cool cover, if I do say so myself. Now, let's jump into Season 2 of the Wild Shuffle Survivor. Now, I really think in Season 1 we had like sort of a cast of decent names, right? People who were known from their shows before. I think this is more of a cast of people who can make their name in Wild Shuffle history, who can become big stars in Wild Shuffle history, but maybe weren't the biggest names in their own show. Again, this is all random, so when I saw this cast initially, I was kind of like bummed out because I was like, oh, this is not that big name of a cast, but I think it's actually a pretty fun cast. We'll get into it, and I'll give my winner pick before we get into the season here. But I also think it's important to note the winner from Season 1, Julia Carter, who did a great job, is not somebody I necessarily would say, oh, that's a big name in Survivor history. So any of these people can make their own names. So let's get into it. Adam Pock is the first member of the Kucha tribe. He was in Big Brother 13, I believe. What I remember about him was he was really obsessed with 90210, really obsessed with Tori Spelling. She even came to visit the house to see him. Kind of just like a goofball character. I think he was decently strategic, at least to the point of being able to float and not put a target on his back, but I don't think he's the best player in any sort of physical, social, or strategic game. So overall, probably an average player, not somebody I'm expecting to do too well, but I think he could absolutely be a 0-vote finalist. Then we got Aurora Mercury. She was in, I believe it was Edge of Extinction. She kind of tried to align with some of the vets. You'll see one of those vets on this tribe. She was really good at challenges, an aggressive player, maybe not the best social player, but somebody who's going to be exciting here, should try to be looking to make big moves, and I think somebody that could really work well with somebody else here we have on the tribe. Then we got Cliff Hogg III. He was sort of another sort of goofy character from Big Brother. I don't remember the exact season, 21 or 22. Sort of a goofy character, a big fan of the show, tried to play socially, tried to play strategically, ultimately didn't do great, but maybe he'll have a better chance here. Then we have Crystal Cox from Survivor Gabon, sort of known for being bad at challenges, maybe not the best socially, but we'll see if she can get her redemption here. I don't have extremely high hopes for her, but we'll see. Here's our first member from Big Brother Canada, and that's Jordan Parhar. Probably best remembered for his time after Big Brother Canada, where he did the Happy Hour on RHAP. I always loved listening to his podcasts. I even played in his fantasy football league. But Jordan Parhar is the type of player who's big super fan. Maybe got a little overwhelmed in the moment. I think he clearly has a very strategic mind. He clearly has an ability to know how to play these games. Maybe wasn't able to execute that well, but I do think in what is potentially a weaker season, he could have some success here. Then we have Kelly Wentworth. Kelly Wentworth is a 3-time Survivor player in the real Survivor universe, but this is her first showing in the Wild Shuffle universe. She's somebody who's pretty good at all elements of Survivor, right? She's good at challenges, she's good at the social game, and she's good at the strategy. I think sometimes she's struggled with maybe being too big of a threat. It's something I talked about with Malcolm in the last season, where I think she just becomes too big of a threat too early on, so it's hard for her to make it super far in a game because it's very clear that she's a big target, but in an early season like this, if she can get a group together, she might be able to have a dominating performance. Then we have Monet Stunson. I don't remember a lot about Monet too much. I know she was in Big Brother. I believe she got out fairly early and didn't really get to show too much, but somebody who, from what I've looked up, seems like she did have a pretty decent social game, and somebody who could absolutely fly under the radar and play a decent game. Then we got Nate Moore. He was from Survivor 49. I really think he is somebody who does have a lot of strategic acumen, but also is clearly a very good social player. Made a lot of bonds during his time on the island and eventually got idled out. So I think he's somebody who can use his social game to his advantage to get the target off him early and then could potentially do very good on this season. The next tribe, the Ogakor tribe, starts with Angela Murray. Angela is known from Big Brother for being a big character, lots of emotion, lots of temper tantrums, not necessarily good strategy, but while she's here, she's going to be fun. Guarantee she's going to be getting in fights with some of these people. She's probably not here for a long time, but while she's here, she's going to be fun. Then we have Bradley Keelig. Can't pronounce that last name. Sort of known for being a very strategic player, but not necessarily somebody who would put the whole game together in terms of like the social and creating those bonds and stuff like that. So I think he'll be an interesting player here where if he can get in an alliance, I do think he has the ability to make the moves to get him to the end, but also could absolutely be a villainous character who in an early season like this might not get the respect from the jury. Then we got Clifton Williams. Cliff, he was in the last season of Big Brother. We'll call him Clifton since we do have another Cliff, and that is the name they give him here, but I believe all last season he was going by Cliff. Sort of similar to Cliff Hogg, except actually I would say Clifton is a better social player. Last season we saw him get far in the Big Brother season just because he was able to make those social bonds. He wasn't really doing a whole lot, but people really enjoyed being around him. They had that good connection with him, and he was able to do good and go far just because of that. Next we have Daniel Strunk. Daniel Strunk is somebody I think who is a very similar player style to Jordan Parhar, somebody who really knows the game, really has that strategic ability, but maybe doesn't know how exactly to put that into the game once they're there and it's in real life. Has everything in the brain, but maybe doesn't have the ability to put that into the actual game. We'll see, but I just sort of view those two as very similar. Then we have Drea Wheeler. She was known for being a fun character. Found a ton of advantages, which she won't get to do in this season, but that also made her quite a big threat in her season, so I think maybe without that, she'll be able to go far. I think she has a good social game, good mind for the strategy, absolutely somebody who, especially on this tribe, could go far. Then we have Mickey Lee. Very sad what happened to her in real life, but she was a big character on last season of Big Brother with Clifton. And she was a really fun player, making a lot of alliances, looking to make moves, looking to cut people, quite cutthroat, lots of strategy talk. So I think she's somebody who could definitely do well in the season. Then we have Nyanka Mixon. She's famous for getting pretty far in her season of Survivor and then quitting. While she was there, she was all drama all the time. I think if we don't see a fight between her and Angela in the first episode, what are we doing here? Because that is just, I feel like, why they're both here. So absolutely excited to see her here. Again, might not be a long time, but excited for the fights while she is here. Finally, we have Tyrone Davis. I didn't remember him a whole lot. I believe he was on Nyanka's season. He was sort of seen as a leader of the older tribe. And yeah, that's what I see for him. I think he's somebody who could be a good leader, potentially get in a good alliance because of that. And, sorry, I lost the page there. Could potentially get in a good alliance because of that. And I think Tyrone is somebody who could absolutely win an old school game of Survivor just by getting in a good alliance and sort of leading them through the game. Going to my winner pick, I think I got to be pretty basic here. I'm going with Kelly Wentworth. I said she was like Malcolm. Malcolm didn't win. Malcolm was my winner pick, so maybe I'm starting off with a bad strategy for these first two. But I do think Kelly Wentworth is the only person here who's really stone cold proven herself on multiple seasons of her show. She's the only person I believe here who, as her attorney, I guess Angela did play Amazing Race as well. But Kelly Wentworth has done 3 seasons of Survivor. She's really shown that she has an ability to go deep in multiple games. So I think she has the strategy, the social game, and the challenge game to go far in this game. She's going to be my winner pick. So let's see how that goes. Let's get started here. Kucha Tribe, no alliances early. Ogakor doesn't have any alliances. Kucha wins immunity. I like that because it keeps my winner pick safe. Aurora and Crystal have a major fight, but Aurora is impressing the rest of the team. She then bonds strongly with Jordan Parhar. So if she's impressing the rest of the team, if she's making strong bonds, I think that might mean Crystal is starting to get on the outs in this Kucha Tribe. They have won the first immunity. And look at this. Then Aurora forms alliance with Jordan Parhar and Nate Moore. I really like this alliance. I think this could be a very good alliance in this game. Not great for Kelly Wentworth because that's on her tribe, but I think this could be an alliance to watch on the Kucha Tribe. Now it looks like, it's just saying Adam works. I read that wrong and thought it was saying there's another alliance, but no, Adam has worked hard and becomes tired. Hopefully that doesn't set us up for our first medevac. Here's Angela having a major fight with Bradley. I thought in the first episode it would have to be with Nayanka. Hopefully that's still to come. But Angela and Bradley getting in a big fight early. That's really fun. Excited to see how this plays out. But with this tribe going to Tribal Council, it could mean one of these two becomes the target. Let's see. It's time to vote. First vote, Tyrone. Next vote, Angela. Next vote, Tyrone. Next vote, Angela, 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 Angela. So, like I said, she's here for a good time, not a long time. She got in her big fight, and then she got out of here. But I'm interested to see... So, obviously, Angela voted Tyrone, but who else voted Tyrone? Mickey. So, that's not a great sign for Mickey that she was the only other person to vote Tyrone. Because with the tribe seeing this, if they go to Tribal Council again, Mickey could be the target there. And I wondered why they were targeting Tyrone. Angela got in the fight with Bradley, and Tyrone seems to be one of the stronger people on their tribe, so that's interesting that that's the way they went. So the Kucha tribe has this alliance, an alliance I really like, hope goes far in the game. Ogakor's not got any alliances yet. We get a reward win for Ogakor. And then Kucha again gets that immunity win, keeping the whole tribe safe. Aurora and Jordan find something in common, so they're really bonding at this point. But this is very interesting because now there's a second alliance in Kucha, and it does have Aurora in it again, who seems to be playing a really good game right now. But now she's aligning with 3 other people from the tribe, so she's very well insulated in this tribe. She's got this alliance with Adam, Kelly, and Monet. Very interesting here. Early on, great gameplay by Aurora. We'll see how long it lasts. Daniel's impressing the rest of the team, and now we see a super alliance forming. This is really good news for Mickey because it seemed like Mickey was on the outs of the last vote, going to Tribal Council now, but she gets herself in this big majority alliance that now you would think will pick off the other 2 members. We've got Daniel Strunk, we got Drea Wheeler, we got Mickey Lee, we got Nayanka, Nayanka mix the way they have that O big throws me off every time. Nayanka mixing, and we got Tyrone Davis. So this could be the alliance that now picks off the other 2 in Ogakor. And the other 2 would be Clifton and Bradley. So these 2 are going to be kind of likely one of them is going. You'd think maybe Bradley because he caused that drama with Angela, but everyone had his back, so we'll see. First vote Bradley, next vote Clifton. Oh, that's why. I was like, why does Clifton not sound familiar? He goes by Will. Okay, so we'll be calling him Will from now on. I watched that season of Big Brother, and I was like, Clifton doesn't sound familiar, but I thought he must just go by Cliff. But no, it was Will. Okay, sorry about that, guys. 1 vote Bradley, 1 vote Will. Second vote Bradley. Third vote Bradley. Fourth vote Bradley. Fifth vote Bradley. It looks like everybody voted Bradley except for Bradley himself. The Super Alliance even got Will in on the plan to vote for Bradley, and Bradley is out of the game. Looks like the 2 people who caused that early drama with that big fight both went home back to back. Now we go to episode 3. Is Ogakor going to be able to win a challenge? Because even though they have the Super Alliance, if they lose too much more, I mean, Will's an easy target next, but then they're going to have to go after each other. Here's the alliances in Kucha. Here's the alliances in Ogakor. Ogakor wins reward. Ogakor wins immunity. Big win for them. Big win. Aurora and Jordan seem to be bonding every episode. I think they have a very strong partnership here, and that's going to be interesting to track. Adam and Monet bond strongly. Adam leaves the alliance, so now he's potentially on the outs going into this tribal council. Aurora seems to have control of the tribe, and if he's leaving an alliance, maybe she doesn't like that. Maybe she wants to get him out. Crystal's resting at camp and restoring her energy. Will and Daniel bond. Looks like Mickey's leaving the Super Alliance. And then maybe she's leaving because she wants to join this other alliance. And that's interesting because I feel like what I said at the start and what we saw from Mickey's game in Big Brother was being a part of a lot of different alliances, if I do remember. So now she's with Will, Dr. Strunk, herself, and Nyanka in a second alliance. So she's taking Daniel and Nyanka from this alliance and then putting Will in. So that's big for Will if they do go to tribal, because he seemed to for sure be on the outs, and now he has a bit of a chance. It is time to vote. This is the first time seeing this tribe vote. Just based on the alliances, you'd think maybe it's somebody like Crystal or Adam. They're not in any alliance. I guess Cliff Hogg isn't either. I'm thinking Adam maybe because he blatantly left that alliance. That might have rubbed people the wrong way, but let's see. First vote, Crystal. Second vote, Crystal. Third vote, Cliff. Fourth vote, Cliff. Fifth vote, Cliff. Sixth vote, Cliff. Cliff is out of here. Okay, interesting. Let's see how that went down. So it looks like Aurora voted Cliff, so she got what she wanted. Makes sense. Crystal voted Cliff. Jordan voted Chris. Kelly voted Cliff. Monet voted Cliff. Nate voted Cliff. So the only person... Oh, so it was only Cliff. Sorry, I thought that was a closer vote. So Cliff obviously didn't vote for himself. And then Adam, after leaving the alliance, is like, I'm not going with the majority, putting a huge target on himself if they go back to tribal. Because he's leaving alliances. He's not voting with the group. He's just doing things that, like, they're easy things to do. And by not doing them, clearly going to put a target on his back. So not impressed with Adam's game right now. So we got these alliances on Kucha. These alliances on Ogakor, nothing new. Kucha wins reward. They get a live chicken, or live chickens, plural. Ogakor wins again, so now this is going to be interesting. I think this should bring the numbers back to even. Excuse me. Adam and Aurora bond slightly, so he's trying to now get back in Aurora's good books after leaving her alliance. Kelly and Nate bond slightly. Aurora and Jordan bond strongly, and they have a lasting impact. This is very interesting. Like, I feel like every time we're seeing, those two are bonding. So they're got to have such a strong bond that we have to consider them a duo at this point. Mickey has a major meltdown. Her tribe is safe for this episode, so we don't have to worry about her going home as a result of that. And let's see what happens here. I'm thinking, I mean, just based on his completely sloppy gameplay, I feel like Adam has to be a target here. Yeah, we do see Adam getting a vote. First vote Adam, then Crystal, then Crystal, then Crystal, then Crystal. Wow. So it looks like everybody voted Crystal and Crystal voted Adam, which makes sense that you would try to pitch Adam because he seems to not be doing well, but maybe Adam getting in, we saw him slightly bonding with Aurora. Seems like she's making the decisions on this tribe, so that probably was enough to keep him safe and get Crystal out of here. Crystal didn't really have any alliances anyway, so makes sense that she would be a target if Adam was able to save himself. So we are back to evens, 6 apiece. Let's see what happens here. Still the same alliances over here on Kucha. Still the same alliances here on Ogakor. Kucha wins reward. We're going to proceed. Kucha wins immunity, so they finally get another immunity. We get to see Ogakor go back. That will be interesting. Monet is impressing the rest of her tribe. Of course, Aurora is impressing the rest of her tribe. Aurora playing a great game so far. She's giving me Julia Carter vibes right now. And we'll see if she can pull it out. It's still very early in the game, but right now she's giving me Julia Carter vibes. Mickey's impressing the rest of the team. She has a minor disagreement with Nyanka. I'm surprised Nyanka hasn't gotten more fights yet. I feel like that was sort of her thing in her season, getting in a lot of fights, but she hasn't been doing that yet. But there's still a lot of season to go. Okay, time to read the votes. Everyone's in some sort of alliance, so we'll have to see what alliance holds the strongest right now. First vote Will, next vote Drea, next vote Will, Drea, Will. So it looks like Will went home pretty easily here, but who else voted with Will? And it was Mickey. Okay, so Mickey again on the outs of the vote, which is interesting because she was in the... Actually, I think she didn't leave. Or did she leave? We'll check, but I think she potentially left the one alliance, started her own alliance, and so she should be fairly well insulated with everybody, but she's voting with the person who went out, which is weird. So yeah, Will goes out here. It didn't do too much in this game. It kind of became an easy target when he wasn't in the majority alliance, but he was in another alliance, but wasn't voting with the tribe consistently. So next we go here. We got these alliances still. Yeah, so Mickey did leave this alliance to start this alliance with Will. So it makes sense maybe why she voted with him then, right? Because she was kind of upset with these people wanting to start her own. Specifically, probably upset with Drea and Tyrone because they didn't come to her new alliance, and she voted Drea with Will. Okay, we can make sense of that. That tribe wins Mountain Dew and Doritos. Then that Mountain Dew and Doritos powers them to an immunity win. What is going to be super interesting here is they have 5. I remember that in Old School Survivor, they always merge at 10. So we're going to go into the merge with even tribes, which is going to be really fun because in the last season, it was a great season, but there was such an uneven number at the merge. It wasn't super exciting. Now we're going to have 5-5 at the merge with no idols or anything like that. Going to be interesting to see what happens here. But first, we need to see who Kucha votes out. Kelly and Nate bond slightly. Adam and Kelly bond slightly. So Kelly went with her, starting to put in that work. Love that for her. Love that for our winner pick. Monet's impressing the rest of the team. Daniel and Nyanka have a minor disagreement. So now Nyanka's starting to get in these fights. Dre impresses the rest of the team. Nyanka has a major meltdown. Okay, now we're starting to see. I called for it. I asked. I said, Nyanka, where are you? Where's the Nyanka we know? And now she's starting to step up. So glad to see it. Kucha is at Tribal Council. Nate gets the first vote, and so let's just break this down. Aurora's in alliance with all 4 of these people, so you have to think Adam Pock is going to go out here. If he doesn't, honestly, I might have to apologize a bit, because maybe he's playing a bit of a better game than I thought if he's able to avoid this. But maybe this is just a single vote for Nate of his, and everybody else votes Adam. Let's see. So right now it's 1-1. Adam. Oh, Adam, Nate. Okay, it's a tie. I almost just spun through that because I thought everyone would be working together. So Aurora seems to have lost some control because all her alliance is not voting together. Nate is getting the 3 votes. So let's see what happens here. There's a revote. Let's see if anything changes in the revote. Adam, Nate, Adam. Okay, so somebody changed their vote here. Let's see how this went down because this is interesting. So Adam voted Nate. Makes a lot of sense. Aurora voted for Adam. Jordan voted for Adam. It makes sense these 2 would be in alignment. So it looks like Kelly and Monet, so the girls' alliance that Aurora has, wanted Nate out. But she's in alliance with Nate, so she wants Adam out. Jordan's aligned with that. And then looks like Kelly changed her vote to Adam. She had bonded with Adam, so maybe she was trying to keep him safe, but doesn't know what a revote's going to look like or what's going to happen after the revote, and just gets rid of Adam there. With this tribe being split, that could be a concern going into now the merge. These 5 people have all been fairly well aligned. I mean, there is some maybe ill will between Mickey and Drea and Tyrone, but we'll have to see. If there's no cracks, we could get another tie vote. We've got the merge, even numbers. I'm excited for this. Let's see how it goes. Barramundi. I always like that name, Barramundi. Okay, so right now we've got a bunch of different alliances. This is the biggest alliance, but they're going to need Mickey to vote with them, with their tribe, in order to have numbers. And then these 5 are not on they have to get on the same page, right? Because Aurora's with all of them, but Aurora needs to be able to pull everybody in together and sort of get this together in order for her to have an easier win. And this will be sort of a big moment for her to see if she can walk to the end of this game. Kelly wins immunity. Great for our winner pick here, Kelly. I think Kelly's playing a really good under-the-radar game, but I don't think she can beat Aurora in the end. So if she can somehow get Aurora out during this post-merge game, I think she does have a good shot at winning our first winner pick. Daniel and Naonka get in a small fight. Aurora and Tyrone find something in common. Aurora's injured but can stay treated and stay in the game. Hopefully that doesn't affect long term, because that would be the worst person to get medevac when she's playing such a good game right now. So Kelly has the immunity. Let's see where the vote goes here. We haven't really seen anything, so this is going to be very interesting to see what happens here. Drea gets the first vote. Now, what's interesting about Drea getting the first vote is Mickey and Drea have had some beef. So will Mickey maybe come over with Kucha and vote out Drea? We'll see. Aurora is the second vote here. That would be heartbreaking just because she's played such a good game so far for her to go out this early. Aurora gets the second vote. Aurora gets the third vote. Naonka, So one of these tribes is not even voting together because now Naonka has a vote. Drea gets another vote. Naonka gets another vote. So right now we're 3 votes Aurora, 2 votes Drea, 2 votes Naonka, another vote for Aurora, another vote for Naonka. So now Naonka has 3. 7th person vote out, Aurora. Wow. So this is a big one. She was playing a great game, but it seems like she just got too far ahead and people realized that. So let's see exactly what happened. Unfortunately, like, she had all these alliances, but she couldn't get them to work together, right? Because they didn't even vote as a 5. They split the vote between Naonka and Drea. So I believe, if we look here, all the Ogakors are going to have voted for Aurora. Let's just see. Yeah. All the Ogakors voted Aurora. And then we have Aurora, Jordan Parhar, and Nate voting Naonka. But then Monet and Kelly Wentworth vote Drea. So I don't know why, but we saw that in their last vote at their tribe too. Those girls were not willing to work with the plan that Aurora and the boys had. So even though they were aligned with Aurora, they weren't willing to vote with her, even if it meant her getting out of the game. Now I do think if Kelly can get through this, this is good for Kelly, because I don't think she was ever going to beat Aurora. I don't think many people were ever going to beat Aurora. But there was still a lot of game to play. So for her to be taken out potentially for being such a big threat this early, I mean, might be too much too soon. So now this is going to be... I feel like things are wide open, but I'm hoping we don't just get Ogakor just taking out all the Kuchas, because I think that'd be a little bit boring. But we'll see what happens here. So we have these alliances now without Aurora, and we still have these Ogakor alliances. And this is ultimately why next season we will see the tribe swap twist to try to get more alliances and more cross-pollination going here, because right now, in the first season we didn't see it, and I'm worried that now Ogakor is just going to run it down. Monet and Kelly get a full course meal. That should be helpful for them in the upcoming immunity challenge. Kelly wins immunity again. That's great. I mean, she's definitely making herself a big threat, but she needs that at this point. And now she needs to try to pull over some numbers so she doesn't just get Toggied. Okay, so here's some interesting stuff. Daniel and Monet find something in common. That is good for the Kuchas to be pulling in somebody from Ogakor. And then Naonka's leaving this alliance, and Daniel's resting at camp. So potentially some tension within the Ogakor people. We'll see if it makes a difference in this vote. But there seems to be cracks. Jordan, Kelly, Monet, Nate, I think they're all good players. Can they act on any of those cracks? Kelly has the immunity necklace. Let's read the votes. Naonka's the first vote. Mickey's the second vote. So those are 2 Ogakor people. Hopefully that's not the Kucha people splitting their vote, though. Naonka, Jordan Parhar, Naonka, Mickey, Jordan Parhar. Okay, this is a very messy merge in terms of the people cannot get a consecutive vote together. Or, sorry, a consensus vote together. There we go. Took me long enough. So right now we have 3 votes Nayanka, 2 votes Jordan, 2 votes Mickey. Really anybody could still go out here. Jordan gets another vote. Don't love that. 3 votes Jordan, 3 votes Nayanka, 2 votes Mickey. And Nayanka gets the 4th vote. Nayanka goes home. Wow. So great for Kucha because now it's back to 4-4. But let's see what happened because that was a wild vote. 4-3-2. What happened here? So Daniel and Nayanka had been beefing a bit. She left the alliance. Makes sense that he was willing to turn. We saw him as a potential person who could turn and join the Kuchas. Jordan Parhar also votes for Nayanka. But see, here's the problem with the Kuchas for me. They're not even voting together, right? So they're splitting their votes on people, opposite people, which is just not good gameplay. So the Kuchas are really disappointing me in their gameplay. But Jordan got Daniel on board, so I like that. Mickey then votes Nayanka, so Mickey also was willing to flip to vote out Nayanka. Monet and Kelly keep voting against in their own thing, so they vote Mickey. Nayanka votes Jordan. That makes sense. Nate is voting Nayanka, and Tyrone voted Jordan Parhar. So it looks like what happened is the 2 people that were working the closest with Aurora, at least in terms of the voting, was Jordan and Nate. It seems like they now have teamed up with Daniel and Nate to vote out Nayanka. Nate and Jordan teamed up with Daniel and Mickey to vote out Nayanka. But yeah, just weird with the splitting of the votes, right? Because there's enough numbers here for somebody else to go home, but it's just sort of sloppy play by everyone at this point. So, but a sloppy game is a fun game. So, is there anybody who's playing as good of a game as Julia Carter right now? No. Somebody would have to really step up in these last half of the game to become the number 1 winner in my mind, to become the best player over time of all time in my mind. But let's see if it can happen. I also would love to see them make it official. These two, let's see it become official. Okay, so now they're splitting them into 2 for some sort of a challenge. Doesn't really matter because it's just for reward. This is the Great Barrier Reef one where in real life Colby got Survivor sued for taking part of the Great Barrier Reef home with him. Group 3 wins. So who's Group 3? Drea and Monet. Let's see if they take something home from the... Oh, sorry, it says it right here. Yeah, let's see if they steal something from the Great Barrier Reef. It must have helped Monet because she wins immunity. She's already got 2 rewards too, so she's proven herself to be a bit of a challenge beast at this point. Concern for me is now Kelly's vulnerable for the first time, and my winner pick could be picked off right here. Drea and Tyrone have a minor disagreement. Daniel and Monet have a small fight. Drea and Nate have a major fight. So lots of disagreements, a lot of tensions in the tribe right now. Let's see what happens in this vote. They've all been wild so far, especially since we've hit the merge. So let's see what happens. Let's see if there can be any sort of consensus or if we just go wild again. So the first vote is for Tyrone. Next vote, for Kelly. Next vote for Mickey. So again, we're getting wild here because there's 3 different people in the first 3 votes getting votes. I don't know what's going on, but I love it. Kelly gets the second vote. I don't love that. Tyrone gets his second vote, so it's 2-2-1. Kelly gets her third vote. Mickey gets a second vote. My goodness. And you just got to think any of these people could save themselves by simply just voting with a majority. So it's 3-2-2. 9th person voted, and second member of a jury, Kelly. Ugh, that's hard. Kelly's voted out 4-2-2. And, she's the second member of the jury, so Aurora was the first person voted out in the merge, but didn't make the jury. Interesting. So we did see Kucha get some traction in the last vote, and I have to blame Kelly here for poor gameplay because we'll see how the votes went. But so Daniel and Drea went back on Kelly. Jordan voted Mickey, who voted him last time, which is interesting. But then here we see Kelly just voting a different name, right? She's voting Tyrone, and her and Monet are doing that. And for Kucha not to vote together, if Kucha all voted together, it would have been a tie. Because they're not voting together, so then somebody if Ogakor votes 4 strong, they get Kelly out. So while I think Kelly was playing a decent game in terms of the physical and social, actually, I don't think she was playing a good social game. I don't think she was playing a good strategic game. So Kelly's somebody who I thought would probably be a lock for another season, especially when she made the merge. I thought she was had a good chance to win. I just think the sloppy gameplay really is disappointing for me. Now we're down to the final 7. I think this game's wide open. I really don't have a favorite, like a person who I think is playing the best game. Honestly, I think Daniel Strunk might have it if he gets to the end, just because that Ogakor tribe, if they're sticking together, that's our final 4. And if that's the case, he's somebody who has made his own moves, right? Like where the rest of them kind of voted together, him and Mickey have made their own moves. So how do we separate them from each other? I forgot about that. I was thinking Daniel went out on its own, but he went out with Mickey. So we're going to have to see how they can separate themselves. Otherwise, it comes down to who's been playing better socially. I know Mickey has been getting in some disagreements, but so has Daniel. So they've been playing very similar games, so we'll have to see. Here's our alliances, and they're very close too as well. So that's our duo right now. That's the duo to beat, I would say. We get the Survivor auction. Jordan wins 4 tortilla chips. Wow, 4 whole tortilla chips and salsa. Tyrone wins peanut butter and chocolate. Another Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew must have been a sponsor here because we've seen Mountain Dew and Doritos. Is there any Doritos? Wow, 3 whole crackers for Daniel. They're eating pretty here. 1 slice of Supreme Pizza for Jordan. Mini Oreos and a glass of milk. Pretzels and a bottle of beer. 6 French fries. 6 French fries. Are you kidding me? 6 whole French fries? Wow. Iced coffee and chocolate peanut butter energy bar. He must be getting sick of that peanut butter. He got peanut butter before too. Mashed potato. Wow, Tyrone's eating good. He's either going to do really good in this challenge or be too stuffed to perform because he's got a full Thanksgiving dinner here. Tyrone wins the glass of river water. Ha ha ha. And then Mickey wins a cheeseburger. Okay. Mickey, that cheeseburger powered her to the win. She wins immunity here, and this is the type of thing that can separate her from Daniel Strunk, right? Because they're being seen as very similar, but if she can now put some immunity wins in her back pocket, that could be the thing that separates her and gets her the win in this game. She's impressing the rest of the tribe. Very good for her. This Ogakor alliance is dissolving, so that's interesting. Okay, look at this. So we have a Barramundi tribe alliance forming, which is very interesting because now we're seeing some cross-tribal alliance. This is what I'm here for. So Jordan and Monet, who could never work together, are now finally realizing to come together. Daniel and Mickey, who I feel like have been playing the strongest game, are here. Andrea, which means Mickey and Drea must have sort of made up because it seemed like at some point in the pre-merge, she was targeting Drea. So this probably, if they can stick together, will be the alliance that dominates the game. And very exciting to see it potentially not just being another taggying. And then Nate's resting at camp. Okay. Mickey has the immunity necklace. With the alliances, I feel like somebody like Nate or Tyrone is probably in danger here. Let's see how it goes. Tyrone gets the first vote. Nate gets the second vote. I'm reading this game like a book. Tyrone. So we finally get some consensus here too because all 6 people vote out Tyrone. So we have that alliance and then they were able to get Nate to vote with them and Nate gets the 1 vote from Tyrone. So now the thing is here, Nate's the only one not in that big alliance. So if Nate doesn't win immunity, you got to think he goes. I know him and Jordan were close, but it seems like Jordan's gone into conservation mode at this point. Got in with this big group. And honestly, with Jordan making these moves, if he can get to the end, he could be a target to win this game. Had a good social game, has had good connections, has been in the right side of the vote the whole time in Kucha, and now has gotten himself back in the game. So could be interesting here. This pairing is also only a 4 strength, so they might not be super loyal to each other. Especially when this is a 6 strength. Jordan seems more committed to this at this point. So we'll see. Nate wins reward. Well, he's going to need to win immunity. So let's see if this can power him to an immunity win. Oh, he does it. Wow. Okay, this is interesting because that alliance that just formed is now going to have to cannibalize, go after each other. You have to think the Kucha members are probably going to get targeted here because they have 2, well, there's 3 Ogakors there. Dre and Jordan have a small fight. That could be bad news for Jordan. Daniel and Drea have a minor disagreement. If she's getting in arguments with two of the alliance members, that could be a problem. Mickey and Monet have a disagreement. So all these people are in that new big alliance, and they're all having disagreements, which could mean this alliance is not as strong as we thought, and could be kind of breaking up before they started. But we'll see. And they're going to have to break up because they have to go after each other. So maybe that's where the disagreements are coming. And Mickey is restoring her energy. Okay, so with Nate having immunity, this really could go either way. I'm thinking probably Jordan or Monet, but we'll see. Drea gets the first vote. Monet gets the second vote. Mickey gets the third vote. Okay, so we're splitting again. What is going on? Monet gets the her second vote in the fourth vote overall. Drea, so now it's 2-2-1. Okay, 11th person voted out, so it's going to be one of these two. Monet gets voted out of the game by a vote of 3-2-1. So let's see now what happened here. So we have these two Ogakors voting Monet. So that big alliance didn't even vote together. Makes sense that they had to just go against each other here. So Jordan votes. So these three Ogakor all voted Monet. Makes sense. So Ogakor stuck together, and then Kucho did what Kucha does. They didn't even vote together. Monet cannot get on the same page with these guys. And ultimately, even if she did, it wouldn't have really mattered. But just not impressed with this Kucha tribe as a whole, honestly. And there's no real, nobody's really standing out to me as, a superstar in this season. I do think Daniel and Mickey have been the best players of the season. They're probably the biggest stars. But taking out Aurora basically seemed to end any suspense in this game, unless Jordan and Nate can do something here. Here's our alliances. Mickey wins reward $500 internet shopping spree to buy gifts for her family and to chat with them as well. She wins immunity. Okay, that's Mickey's second immunity, and she is becoming a threat. I think if Mickey's in the end now, you gotta vote for Mickey. So let's see if the players can recognize that. Drea and Mickey bond slightly. Jordan and Drea have a minor disagreement. It has a lasting impact. Mickey has a major meltdown. And these two dissolve. Gotta think they're going after each other, knowing that they're the last two Kuchas left. Let's see what happens. 1 vote Nate, 1 vote Drea, 2 votes Nate, 3 votes Nate, 4 votes Nate. So looks like, yep, that sort of fake alliance did stick together for this vote. I mean, Jordan probably was just like, yeah, I'll vote with you guys if it's not me. Dissolved the alliance with Nate, took Nate out of the game. I do think Nate played a pretty good game here. He's somebody that I would absolutely consider to bring back, especially on a season that was maybe not the biggest stars. I think he played a good game. He won some immunities when he had to. Couldn't get on the same page with his tribe mates, which I will blame every single person for in that tribe. I'm not going to blame some people and not blame the others. So Nate has to own that, but he's somebody I could see come back for sure. This is our final four. Jordan's Parhar, the last remaining member of Kucha. Got to think Jordan's got to win immunity here. I mean, they maybe I think they should be considering voting out Mickey if she doesn't win, because she's got to be the biggest threat left in the game, but we'll see what happens here. Daniel wins reward. Mickey wins immunity again. That's her third immunity, so they can't take her out. Unless she loses, she could win out here and just have a very dominant end of this game. Mickey has a major meltdown. Jordan has a major meltdown. Jordan almost quits but decides to stay. To me, that's kind of Jordan being like, there's 3 Ogakor, there's 1 me. Maybe I should just quit, get myself out of this game, take it into my own hands. But ultimately doesn't decide to do that. Ultimately going to go to Tribal Council and most likely get voted out here. Mickey has immunity. First vote Drea. Next vote Drea. Next vote Daniel. What? Next vote Drea. Okay. So, don't know what happened here. Ogakor turned on each other. Seems like they all wanted to vote out Drea. Drea wanted to vote out Daniel. And Jordan sits pretty here and gets to go to the final 3. So here's what's going to be interesting. This final immunity challenge is very interesting. If Mickey wins, game over, in my opinion. She wins the game. If Jordan or Daniel can win, they have to team up and take out Mickey. If they can do that, I think whoever wins that immunity and gets that move of taking her out probably wins the game, because I think they've been playing fairly similar games. I think they're fairly similar players. I do think Daniel's had potentially a better game, but he has just been able to be playing from the top, where Jordan's had a decent game playing from the bottom. I say decent game. I mean, he's made this game a lot harder for himself than he had to, but maybe other people weren't willing to work with him. He was working with Aurora, with Nate, and the two other members at the merge vote weren't willing to vote with him, so can't blame him for everything. Let's see what goes on here. You got this worries me. Like, what if Daniel wins and takes Mickey? That would be the Colby move here, which really did happen in the season, where he gives the win to Mickey. Jordan wins immunity. Wow. Okay, so Jordan's a smart player. You have to think he cuts out Mickey here. Mickey instantly becomes a lock for All-Stars, and we get an interesting final vote. Jordan and Mickey keep having meltdowns, but they're in the opposite spot now, where Jordan's the one immune. This alliance is obviously going to dissolve because they're the only 3 players left in the game. Jordan has the immunity necklace. Let's see what he does. Is he smart enough? What? Okay. So Jordan Parhar decides he wants to be the Colby. Don't know why he voted out Daniel Strunk here. Maybe, and we can look at the end. I forgot to show this last time, where it shows the most strategic player. Maybe Daniel's getting a lot of credit for a lot of these moves, and he's playing that strategic game. We can't see that, so I like to go off my narrative, right? I kind of consider it like my narrative is what you're seeing on TV, and maybe so if you're seeing somebody as the most strategic and I haven't narrated them as the most strategic, that might be like when they go on podcasts after and, oh, this person was actually running the game. So in terms of returnees, well, I'll take that into consideration. The biggest thing for consideration is going to be what we see here on the screen. Daniel's voted out of the game. Wow. I don't think that was a good move for Jordan. Mickey, I can't see her losing here, right? But we'll see. This is our jury: Daniel, Drea, Kelly, Monet, Nayanka, Nate, and Tyrone. Let's see. I mean, does anyone here vote for Jordan? Maybe Nate? They were close. Let's see. Okay, first vote goes to Mickey. Second vote goes to Jordan. So he does get a vote here. Next vote to Mickey. You got to think they're all Mickey here. Okay, so I was about to scroll just to the end, but next vote goes to Jordan. So he got at least 2 votes. Then Mickey wins the game by a vote of 5-2. Congratulations to Mickey. Just my initial thoughts, I don't think that win was as dominant as Julia Carter's, only because I feel like Julia did a good job of... They both did a good job of winning immunities. They both played a good strategic game in terms of they were sort of running the majority alliance. I think when we look at their games with a lot of other games in there, we're going to say both of them got to play from the top the entire time. We're in the majority alliance the entire time. And that is somewhat about where they're placing themselves, but that is somewhat about the numbers and the other team fumbling the bag as well. So that might come into play. But where I think Julia really has Mickey beat is in that social game, right? Julia was, every time we were seeing her bond socially, Julia's bonding socially. Where Mickey, we were seeing getting a lot of disagreements. So I think also, like, clearly the social game wasn't as good because Jordan got 2 votes. And I feel like Mickey should have swept this against Jordan. Monet and Nayanka vote for Jordan. Monet and Jordan finally get on the same page. A little too late, too little too late. I'm guessing Nayanka voted for Jordan because her and Mickey had gotten in some disagreements. That's my only explanation there. Daniel wins the fan favorite. I can see that. Again, I don't take the fan favorite too much into account because sometimes it can be super random. But I do think Daniel played a good game. I do think he's somebody I would consider bringing back for All-Stars. So him being a fan favorite makes sense. Mickey wins the game. So let's take a look here at the cast, see who we'd want to bring back, right? In terms of the pre-jury or pre-merge, I think Angela now puts it in my mind should we ever have a full first boot season? Because Angela's somebody I'd love to see on a first boot season. If we do that, I'd bring Angela there, and I'd even consider bringing her into something like a Second Chances or a Fans vs. Favorites or something like that. They did it with Francesca, as Philip called her. Francesca, I can't even say it now properly. They did it with Francesca. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys know what I'm saying. They did bring back somebody who was voted off first in Francesca. There we go. So they could do it with Angela as well. Other than that, Adam, I mean, he was notable. So here's the thing. I think Aurora was playing such a good game. She's somebody I definitely want to see come back. I know she didn't even make the jury, so might be hard for her to get a spot in All-Stars. We'll see, but I do think she's got to be a strong contender for somebody to bring back. I do think Kelly Wentworth could potentially come back. She showed a good ability to win challenges, but I really feel like she fumbled the bag in terms of getting Kucha together. Now, you could say, why am I blaming her? Of course, you can blame anybody, but the Jordan, Nate, and Aurora were voting together. So it's kind of then on Monet and Kelly to vote with them if they want to vote as an alliance. And you see, they kind of went out pretty closely after that, so that might have been in their best interest. I also just think Kelly's the best game player of all these people, so she should know to sort of stick with the numbers when she needs to. So a bit disappointed in her here, but she could still be somebody that we bring back. I do think Nate is somebody I'd like to see come back here. I think he played a good social game. I think he has the strategy to make a deep run again, and I don't think he's seen as a threat. He won immunity when he had to, which got him a little bit farther in this game. I'd be interested in seeing him come back. Daniel Strunk, I think, also somebody who'd be interesting to come back. Played a good game, was in a good alliance, and ultimately probably shouldn't have got taken out there. Probably should be the winner of the season. Jordan Parhar, I don't know, right? I feel like he was involved in the game a lot, but really misplaying things a lot. Probably loses to Daniel, but probably is closer in that vote to Daniel. Ultimately is never voting with those girls, even once Aurora's gone. You have to blame everybody on that, right? So although he was in that 3 originally, I still have to give him some blame for that as well. So sloppy game player, but potentially could be somebody we bring back. And then Mickey Lee, a great winner. I don't know how many winners I'm going to want to have back on All-Stars, but she's got to be somebody that we consider bringing back. Julia's got to be somebody we consider bringing back. Looking at our winner rankings, I'm going to go with Julia and then Mickey as a strong second. Going to our GOAT ratings, I'm also going to have Julia as number 1 and Mickey as number 2. What is the difference? So I think I might have explained this last time, but once people start returning, there could be people who are higher on the GOAT list. Like, for example, I think Parvati's probably the GOAT in Real Survivor, but none of her games are the best game in Survivor history. I don't know off the top of my head what I would consider the best game in Survivor history, but that would be somebody's individual win. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about this. I'm going to remember this time to press proceed. In terms of most strategic, Jordan Parhar is seen as the most strategic here. I don't get that. I don't see how you call him the most strategic when he was making boneheaded decisions, right? If he's the most strategic, how come he can't get a majority to ever vote? He ultimately is the person who got in best with Ogakor, but I don't see that as strategic. I see that more as social. And if he was the most strategic, he would never have went to the end with Mickey. So I don't see that. Nate, I can see as a bit strategic. And then Kelly. So the 3 most strategic are all people from Kucha who absolutely fumbled the bag. So that's why I can't really view this too highly, because none of those people were strategic enough to get their poop in a group to vote together, right? They had the opportunity to all vote together and they didn't. So I don't really see them as strategic. Thank you for watching this season. Let me know who you want to see come back. We will drop season 3 shortly, so stay tuned for that.